Blackwood High School stood ominously at the edge of town, its towering structure casting long shadows across the deserted playground. It was the last day of school, and the air was thick with anticipation. The students buzzed with excitement, eager for the freedom that summer promised. But there was an undercurrent of unease, a sense that something was not quite right. Among the seniors, the group known as the Circle gathered one last time in their secret spot behind the old gym. This group had been inseparable since freshman year, bound by shared experiences and secrets. There was Liam, the de facto leader with a penchant for adventure. Emily, the quiet yet fiercely intelligent one. Josh, the jokester whose laughter could light up a room. Sarah, the empathetic soul who always knew when something was wrong. And Mia, the new girl who had quickly become an integral part of the group. As they sat around a makeshift table, reminiscing about their time at Blackwood, Mia brought up the legend of the school's haunted basement. According to local lore, a teacher had gone mad and disappeared down there years ago, leaving behind a legacy of fear and strange occurrences. "Come on, guys," Mia urged, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "It's our last day. Let's check it out." Liam grinned, always up for a challenge. "I'm in. What about the rest of you?" The others exchanged wary glances, but eventually nodded in agreement. What harm could it do? It was just a story after all. As the final bell rang, signaling the end of their high school journey, the Circle made their way to the basement entrance. The hallway was eerily quiet, the usual hustle and bustle replaced by an oppressive silence. Liam pushed open the heavy door, and they were greeted by a rush of cold, musty air. The basement was a labyrinth of narrow corridors and forgotten rooms. The flickering lights cast long, dancing shadows on the walls, and the air was thick with dust. As they ventured deeper, a sense of unease settled over them. Every creak and groan of the old building seemed amplified in the silence. Emily, ever the rational thinker, tried to dispel the tension with logic. "It's just an old basement," she said, her voice echoing off the walls. "There's nothing down here." But as they turned a corner, they stumbled upon a door that seemed out of place. It was made of heavy, dark wood and adorned with strange, archaic symbols. Josh, always the curious one, reached for the handle. "Wait," Sarah warned, her intuition tingling. "Something doesn't feel right about this." Ignoring her, Josh pulled the door open, revealing a dimly lit room filled with strange artifacts. There were old books with cracked leather covers, jars filled with unidentifiable substances, and a large, ornate mirror that seemed to pulse with an inner light. Liam approached the mirror, his reflection distorted and warped. "This is some creepy stuff," he muttered. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them, and the temperature dropped sharply. The group huddled together, fear creeping into their hearts. The mirror's surface began to ripple like water, and a dark figure emerged from within. Chapter 3, Unleashing the Evil. The figure was tall and cloaked in shadows, its eyes glowing with a malevolent light. It spoke in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, filling the room with an icy dread. "Who dares disturb my sanctuary?" it demanded. Liam, mustering his courage, stepped forward. "We didn't mean to intrude. We were just curious." The figure laughed, a sound that sent shivers down their spines. "Curiosity can be dangerous, young ones. You have awakened me, and now you must pay the price." With a wave of its hand, the room began to twist and distort. The walls seemed to close in, and the artifacts came to life, writhing and pulsating with dark energy. The group tried to escape, but the door was now a solid wall, trapping them inside. "What's happening?" Mia cried, panic in her voice. "We need to stick together," Sarah said, trying to keep everyone calm. "There has to be a way out." Emily, ever the problem solver, scanned the room for any clues. Her eyes fell on the books, their covers inscribed with the same symbols as the door. "Maybe these books can help," she said, grabbing one and flipping through the pages. The figure watched with amusement as Emily deciphered the text. You think you can escape so easily, it taunted, but Emily ignored it, focusing on the task at hand. There's a spell here, she said, her voice steady. It might be our only chance. Chapter 4. The Fight for Survival. As Emily read the incantation, the room shuddered, and the dark figure recoiled. The artifacts around them began to lose their sinister glow, and the walls stopped closing in. But the fight was far from over. The figure roared in anger, lashing out with tendrils of shadow. Liam and Josh tried to fend them off, using whatever they could find as weapons. Mia and Sarah supported Emily, helping her maintain her concentration. "Keep going," Liam shouted, dodging a tendril that narrowly missed his head. Emily's voice grew stronger, the words of the spell resonating with power. The figure began to dissolve, its form flickering like a dying flame. But just as victory seemed within reach, the mirror shattered, and a surge of dark energy filled the room. The force of the explosion knocked them all to the ground. When the dust settled, the figure was gone, but the sense of dread remained. The door was now open, but the school around them had changed. The hallways were twisted, the walls covered in dark, pulsating veins. "We need to get out of here," Sarah said, helping Mia to her feet. As they navigated the distorted corridors, it became clear that the school was no longer the place they knew. It was a maze of horrors, each corner hiding new terrors. They encountered twisted versions of their classmates, lifeless eyes staring blankly as they wandered the halls. "Is this real?" Josh whispered, his voice trembling. Emily, clutching the book tightly, nodded. "It's real, but we can still fight it." Their journey through the corrupted school was fraught with danger. They faced nightmarish creatures and witnessed scenes that tested their sanity. But they pressed on, driven by the hope of finding a way out. In the heart of the school, they found the source of the corruption, a pulsating mass of darkness that seemed to feed off their fear. The figure from the mirror reappeared, now more monstrous than before. "You cannot defeat me," it hissed. "This is my domain." But the circle was not about to give up. They formed a plan, combining their strengths to create a powerful counterspell. Emily led the incantation, her voice unwavering despite the terror around them. As the spell took effect, the darkness writhed and screamed. The figure lashed out, but its attacks were weakened. Liam, Josh, Sarah, and Mia channeled their energy into the spell, creating a barrier that pushed the darkness back. With a final, desperate effort, the figure lunged at them. But Emily's voice rose above the chaos, and the spell reached its climax. There was a blinding flash of light, and the darkness was banished. When the light faded, the school returned to normal. The twisted corridors and nightmarish creatures were gone, leaving behind the familiar, albeit eerie, halls of Blackwood High. The circle stood together, exhausted but victorious. "We did it," Mia said, her voice filled with relief. But their victory came at a cost. The experience had left its mark on them, and they knew that their lives would never be the same. They had faced an unimaginable horror and survived, but the memory would haunt them forever. As they made their way to the exit, the sun began to rise, casting a warm glow over the school. The last day of school had become a battle for survival, a test of their courage and strength. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, but they knew that the evil they had encountered was not truly gone. It lingered, a shadow on the edge of their consciousness, waiting for another opportunity to strike. And as they walked away from Blackwood High, they couldn't shake the feeling that their battle with evil was far from over. Years passed, and the circle went their separate ways, each trying to move on from the horrors they had faced. But the memories lingered, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurked just out of sight.